I have some text that I want to convert into a table, and I also want to add some additional information to that. So the first thing we're going to do is insert a single table. So I'm going to click the paragraph where I want to insert right here below, Become a Member Today. Go to the Insert tab in your ribbon and click the Table button. Now I can choose to insert a table two different ways. I can select the number of cells that I would need, or I can insert a table using the Insert Table option here. When I do that, I can choose the number of columns and rows. I need 3 columns and 1 row. This will set the table to have a fixed column width that's auto. And then when I click OK, you can see that the table is divided into 3 equal parts and expands from margin to margin. I'm going to add text to this table. Membership level, single, family. The next thing we're going to do is select the text that you see that is tabbed. That's what these little arrows mean. We're going to convert this into a table. You can insert a table as we did before, or you can use existing text to create your table. I will insert, go to the same table dropdown, but I'm simply going to select Convert Text to Table. In the dialog box, it's going to choose the number of columns based on where my tabs were. I could also, if I didn't have tabs, use paragraph dividers to separate commas or another symbol. Again, this will be a fixed column width, set to auto, and then we click OK. So now I have my 2 tables. Now I actually want to combine these tables together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the paragraphs that are in between them so that there's no space between the tables. And then I'm going to take the left side of the first column of my second table and match it up with the left side of the top table if they don't match. Then I'm going to move this last cell. And notice that I don't have to select everything in order for that to move. I just have to select one of the cells in the second table. So as I position that, now if I move that column, they all move together. So they have kind of learned that they're now becoming part of one table. I will do the same thing with the second column. And when you get it lined up, now you can move them and they should move together. So what started out as 2 separate tables has now become one single table. I want to apply some formatting to this table, and so I'm going to use the Design tab from the Table Tools in my ribbon. You'll notice there's a large gallery of table display options that has different color combinations and shading options. Select the one that best fits your data. I want to change the formatting within the cell. So first of all, I'm going to select the top row and change the font color. I can use the mini toolbar to do this, but I want to select a lighter color that's going to reverse based on the background color that we have selected. I also want to center that information, I think. And now that I look at that, I don't like membership level centered, so I'm going to select that cell and change it from the others. Now, you'll notice I can't change the position using the mini toolbar because I want to align membership to the left again. So I'm going to go to the Home tab to apply that formatting. Next, I want to select the 2 columns of cells that have currency values in them. I'm going to align them to the right. To change it, I'm going to go to my Layout tab And in my alignment group, there is a cell margins. When I select that, I can set margins inside the cells for the top, bottom, left, or right. I'm going to set that right margin to 0.5. That's inches. And when I click OK, you'll notice that while the cells are not completely centered, they are aligned away from that right-hand edge of the table. Next, I will adjust the width of the cells so that they lay out a little bit better. If you want to make those two columns identical in width, you can select them and we can actually change the width of the column using, again, the Layout tab and then the cell size. We'll make this 0.75 inches. And there you have a formatted table. If I want to insert or delete rows, I can simply select the row, and then using the mini toolbar, I have an option to insert or delete. I will insert a row above my selection. Now you'll notice that the header row doesn't have any information in it, and the top row of my table that was the header row has been pushed down. The table will actually only have one header row. And so what we can do is reformat the color of the font so that it's no longer white, but return it back to black. So it's easy to see. In the top row, I'm going to merge these cells together. Select the entire row. On the Layout tab in your ribbon, find the Merge group and click Merge Cells. Now I can type the information in that top cell, and it centers across the entire table. If I need to add additional rows or columns within the table, you can insert rows and columns using a couple of different methods. On the left-hand side, if I want to insert a row, I can simply point to the area where I want the new row to appear and click the plus sign. A new row has now been inserted. To remove that row, be careful not to click the plus sign again, but right-click on the selected row, choose Delete from the mini toolbar, and then delete rows or columns appropriately. You can also use the Delete drop-down on the Layout tab in the ribbon. Since I have a merged cell at the top of my table, it's difficult for me to insert columns if I need them. However, I can still accomplish this if necessary. Select the rows of the table below the merged cell. Click the Layout tab in the ribbon and select Split Table. The table now breaks into two separate tables, and I can insert a column into that table if I need to. When you're done, you can accomplish the same process that we did before to combine the tables back together by simply deleting the empty paragraph that appears between the tables. So make sure that you leave it split until you've inserted or deleted all of your columns, or simply leave that merged cell unconnected to the rest of the table. If I want to change the appearance of my table, I can simply switch the design using the Design tab. To change the borders of the table, select the table using the cross in the upper left-hand corner, and then select from the Design tab the border options that you would like. Choose the line style from the line style drop-down. Choose the thickness from the weight drop-down. Choose the pen color from the pen color drop-down. Then select the border that you would like to apply. I'm going to apply an outside border. I can deselect the table to see the effect. You may have noticed when applying borders that after choosing a border style, the border painter turned itself on and my cursor turned into a fountain pen tip. If you click any border with that fountain pen, it will apply the style, weight, and pen color that you have selected. So be careful, because you can change the borders of your table without really meaning to. To turn the border painter off, simply choose an option from the Borders drop-down list, or if you're finished using the border painter, simply press the Escape key to return to a normal cursor. And there you have a formatted table. You might also want to center your table in the middle of the margins instead of leaving it left aligned. This is actually a property of the entire table. You can find the properties for your table two different ways. Select the table, and then on the Layout tab, click Properties to open the Properties dialog box. You can also locate the Properties dialog box by clicking anywhere in the table with your right mouse button and choosing Table Properties. Here on the Table Properties tab, you'll notice the option to have left, center, or right aligned tables. If I choose Center and click OK, my table shifts to the center of my margin area.